things. My mic was muted. Man, no one's gonna tell me. But shout out to everybody that is pulling up. I'm your host, Exacting Raider. Natural Native, fortunately, cannot pull up, but he is in the chat. He is so psyched. He said, let's fucking go. Raiders! Yes, you guys, we got that dub yesterday. The Las Vegas beat the Houston Texans 38-20. I happy that we won. I'm not gonna say, oh, we're going to the playoffs. We're getting back on track. We're gonna take this one game at a time. I'm gonna take one game at a time. The Houston Texans are, they're 1-4-1, but they're still not their record. They still have a decent, team. They have a good red zone defense. Were number 5 or top 5 in red zone defense, and they were also top 10 in the passing defense. They were 30th in the running game. That's why I said we had to establish our run attack. We had to run with Josh Jacobs, and boy, did he have a game. So let's recap this game, bro. Let's talk about it. So Josh Jacobs, my MVP of the game. I said he was going to be the MVP. Josh Jacobs had 20 carries for 143 yards rushing. He was averaging 7.2 yards a carry and had 3 touchdowns to go along with that. His longest run of the day was a 15-yard touchdown. And also, DJ Turner got into the mix with 3 carry yards, averaging 6.7 yards a carry. The day was 18 yards. Hopefully, this is more things to come with DJ Turner. Zeus did run 1 carry for 2 yards, and that was his longest run of the day. But as a team, but Josh Jacobs getting the whole buttload of carries. Of course, he's our bell cow. As a team, they 7 carries, 164 yards, and then 3 TDs that Josh Jacobs had. DC went 21 for 27. He had 241. He was averaging 8.9 yards with 1 touchdown. He did get sacked 1 time, had a quarterback rating of 80.5 and a rating of 116.2. Derek Carr didn't do a lot, but he didn't need to do a lot. Shout out to 2-8 for being that dog. I agree. Josh Jacobs needs to get paid. I will say it time and time again. Josh Jacobs needs to get paid. Devontae Adams, he had 8 catches, 95 yards. I thought he hit over 100. I didn't see his stats after the game, but he did. I'll give him that 100. But he had 8 catches for 9 targets. Man, DC-DA connection, I'm telling you guys that is going to be – their connection is – it's coming alive. It's coming alive. Hunter Renfrow had 3 catches, 55 yards. Thurman Renfrow looked like he came back. He did have 3 targets, so 3 for 3. Matt Collins was 2 for 3, catching 44 yards and a TD. Longest of the day was that 26-yard touchdown he caught. Foster Moreau had 3 catches for 28 yards and no touchdowns. Now, guys, that is one thing I did want to bring up. I know we didn't have a lot of passing attempts, but I do hope to see in the future, because I know we had to run the football. I'm glad we ran the football because the Texans were the 30th rank against the run. So I wanted them to run the football. But let's say we go against a team like the New Orleans Saints, who have a good defense. We'll get more into that later in the week. Stay tuned for our preview show, which reminds me, guys, if you guys have not yet subscribed to Raiders Primos, man, join the Boricua party. Shout out to my Boricua Raider fans out there. Man, shout out to all the nation for supporting the channel. But hit that subscribe button, hit the like, and hit that bell so you guys can be notified when we go live for that Raiders preview against the New Orleans Saints. Because I think this defense is going to be good. Josh Jacobs, still feed him. But will he have the production as he had against Houston? He could, but it could be a really big task to ask. That means Derek Carr and the passing game is going to have to come alive. So the reason why I bring up Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Matt Collins, Foster Moreau, guys, that is just 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end outside of the running backs getting some of the receptions too. the ball's really not spreaded around. I would love to see this ball spread more around to, maybe Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Matt Collins, Foster Monroe. Hopefully we can get Waller back and Keelan Cole back. And, man, even DJ Turner, get him some looks in there. I would love to see the ball spread more around because if you're spreading the ball around, this defense has to be more honest, and they have to account for more people on the offense side of the ball. If you're not spreading the football around, it's going to be easy to double Tay, double Hunter, and just really lock people up if you're just going one way with the football. The defense, however, Davis Mills, he did go 28 for 41, 302 yards, 7.4 averaging on passes, had 2 TDs, 1 costly interception, and we did get to him 1 time. He had a 68.1 quarterback rating with a 95.8 rating. Dameon Pierce, for the most part, the Raiders defense did shut down the run. He had 92 yards, 4.6 average with no touchdowns. His longest of the day was 22 yards. And guys, I say they pretty much shut down the run because coming to this game, guys, Dameon Pierce, he had 3 straight games with at least 1 touchdown. And the Raiders broke that streak. In the passing game, Jordan Akins, tight end, 3 catches for 68 yards. The leading receiver in yesterday's game had no touchdowns. Philip Dorsett, Chris Moore were on the receiving end of those touchdown passes. But other than that, they really did not do much. So, guys, let's talk about it. We can be excited. We can be excited about this game. Yeah, show to love, bro. Yes, show love to the channel. Smash that like button. Let's spread it around. EP Scorpio, salute to you guys. What's up, Primos? Go Raiders. Demenis, man, always showing love, my guy. The defense he also said the defense stepped up in the second half, bro. And I called it. Demenis, you were in the live with me and Andy, and bro, I called it at the beginning of the game, and said, based on how the Raiders are playing, and that's why I said it, based on how the Raiders played, this game is not going to be a blowout by half, even by the third quarter. I see this game being very, very close going into the fourth quarter. But when it goes into the fourth quarter, that's when the Raiders are going to run away with the game. Josh Jacobs is going to eat. By the way, I think he had 2 TDs in the fourth quarter. And we're just going to have a nail in the coffin play where the Texans, it's a done deal. Deron Harmon gets a pick 6, puts the game out of position for the Texans. We go on to win the game 38-20. I was going based off what the Raiders showed me and how the Texans were, like, statistically how they were. And I'm like, if we can get into the fourth quarter, close game, I know Josh Jacobs is going to eat. And I predicted that too, 150 yards with 2 TDs. He was close. He had 143 with 3 TDs. Very, very close. But I just knew if Josh McDaniels was seeing what we were seeing as fans, that Jacobs is a beast and he's just running different. He was running different against the Chiefs really this entire season. And we've been crying, feed Josh Jacobs. There's something in that man that we just can't explain, which is, by the way, I found out what that was. Josh Jacobs got x-rays after the game. They wanted to figure out what was going on with Josh Jacobs. He just got that dog in him. They got x-rays, and he got that dog in him. 143 yards, but my biggest one is 7.3 yards averaging a carry. That's mind-blowing. That is mind-blowing. EP Scorpio says the beginning of a 6-game win streak. I hope so, but I want to pump the brakes on that, EP Scorpio. I want to pump the brakes on that. Sorry, guys, my phone's going off. I want to pump the brakes on that. And here's why. We're 2-4. We beat the Texans, and people was like, well, the Texans, they're the Texans. They're a bad team, 1-4-1, But I always go by the team isn't, I mean, of course, they're one. That's the reality. They're 1-4-1. But any given Sunday, guys, I seen when the Raiders were 0-10, and they were welcoming the 7-4 Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. No one thought the Raiders would beat the Chiefs. Being an 0-10 team, welcoming a hot Kansas City Chiefs team fighting for a playoff, getting their way or getting ready to make a playoff appearance at 7-4, and they go on to beat the Chiefs 24-20, which was Derek Carr's first win in the NFL. So I want people to understand that the Raiders were expected to blow out the Texans, and the Raiders did just that. We don't have to be excited. We don't have to be, throwing parades and but let's enjoy this win. Let's be happy. But we do got to pump the brakes on, they're going to go on a run here. For me to believe that they're going to go on a run, go beat the Saints, go beat the Jags. Let's get back to 500. You get back to 500, you're basically at 0-0, and you could take a still one game at a time, and you just go on a win streak from there. That's what I'm hoping we can do. I know I called it for quarter two, bro. Like I said, man, I was just going based off what I was, doing all this pregame, leading up to this game. I was going based off what I was scouting, what I was seeing from our team, and what I was seeing from the Texans. And I just said, this Raiders team is a second half team. They're going to likely come out into the fourth quarter. Nate says, we needed that lighter to spark that fire. Josh Jacobs is that. EP Scorpio says, can Raiders take this momentum to the next game? I'm hoping they do. We said, can they take this momentum? Can they take the Denver win into Kansas City? I think they did. But again, this is what hurts not playing starters in the preseason. It's plays like that. You play starters in the preseason to not have, stuff like that where you have guys running into each other at the end of a game and a very important play. That's why you play players in the preseason. And there's been a lot of times, guys, this season where that's came and bit us in the ass for not playing season. I was very, very against Josh McDaniels sitting Derek Carr. Maybe Devontae Adams, he didn't need to be out there, but I wanted to see him too. Look at Josh Jacobs, guys. Josh Jacobs is literally evidence on why you play people in the preseason. Josh Jacobs is on a tear right now, he's on a tear to really have a career year, like 1,500 yards, maybe have double-digit touchdowns in the rushing game. I believe he's already at he has 6 in the past week. In the past 3 games, he has 6 touchdowns, over 400 yards rushing. And he played in the preseason. 1 game he played just to get the rust off. But we see other guys struggling like Darren Waller, Derek Carr, Hunter Renfrow. Those are the guys that did not see the field in the season. And this is probably, I feel this plays a part why we're 2-4, guys, is that they didn't play in the preseason. So can they take this momentum to the next game? I'm hoping they do. I think they do, but stick to the game, because I want to say this, guys, the Raiders' identity has been found. They are a running, physical football team. They are a punch, smash mouth football team. They run the football to balance out the offense, get the pressure off of Derek Carr, and set up the play action passes, set up screen passes. But the offense goes through and runs through Josh Jacobs and the offensive line. That is what our offense is. And our defense is, I hate to say it, bend, don't break defense. But when we need a stop, this defense will get that stop. They probably will get scored on. But as we've seen, the most points, guys, this defense has allowed is against the Chiefs at 30 points. Other than that, it's been 24 or less points that they have allowed against the Titans, the Cards, the Chargers, and the Broncos. So shout out to the defense, because really, guys, I did not expect this defense to play the way they're playing. I expected this defense to really give up 30-plus points a game, give up 400 yards, 300 yards, because, you got Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, but who did we have in the backhand? We had Rockinson, we had Nate Hobbs, but I just did not believe that this defense was really up to the task, what we were asking them to do. But, bro, they proved me wrong. We're 2-4, but at the end of the day, we're still 2-4. Hopefully this Raiders offense can, wake up they're on a tear right now. Like I said, run the football, the passing game will open up. EP Scorpio said, "Can Carr be consistent and have a decent game on the next one?" This is hard to answer because he's known to be inconsistent, right? He's known to be inconsistent, and the Saints defense is very, very scary. That's what worries me. They are a very scary football team. Can Derek Carr be consistent? I'm hoping he can. Um, he's really a game manager. So if you can really run the football efficiently and get the pressure off of Derek Carr, as I said, like you don't need to put the ball in his hands. He doesn't need to throw for 40 passes, or 45 passes. Limit to him to like 34, 35 passes, and I think you'd be good. And as long as he takes care of the football, we should be good. Because that's another thing. He's been taking care of the football these past games. He just hasn't been putting up points. 1.5 averaging a game on passing touchdowns. You want to see that number go up, and that's what I'm hoping to see out of him. But guys, I want to give some game balls too. And a game ball on the offensive side, I got to give it to the boy Josh Jacobs, but I also want to give it to the offensive line as a whole, because without the offensive line guys playing the way they played, getting those the blocks I was seeing, Thayer Mumford, bro, I wanted him to start at right tackle to begin the season. I did not want to see Illuminor in there based off I in the preseason, Illuminor was holding his own, and I wanted Illuminor in there because I didn't see a lot of Mumford. But once I seen Mumford in like having game action and seeing what he was capable of, I wanted to see Mumford in there. I just thought he had more juice. He had more of good physicalness to him than Illuminor had, and he was more disciplined than Illuminor. Illuminor, as we've seen, has already had a lot of penalties, costly penalties, holding, false start, very costly penalties. And Mumford, he's been disciplined so far. He allowed no sacks yesterday, no quarterback hurries, and I believe it was on 27 snaps he had. And then on the running game, guys, he was getting out as a lead blocker. That man was going out there ready to seal the block for Josh Jacobs. So that is my game ball, really two game balls to the offensive line and to Josh Jacobs for really finding the holes, but the offensive line for setting Josh Jacobs up to have a career year. Domenis says, we invested in the offense this year. Do you think we focus on the defense in the draft? Yes. And at the end of the year, me and get you guys ready for the off season, we are going to bring up our list of guys. Really, I'm focusing on the defense too. That is my main thing I'm going to be scouting for is in college is really coverage linebackers and a defensive tackle. I feel our secondary can be good with if we plug in a good coverage linebacker and a solidified defensive tackle. Our back end will get a lot of help because then the quarterback will not have a lot of time to throw. They will cause high passes, low passes, invert passes to our back end. But our linebackers, and because we're a lack of a pass rush, doesn't really help our corners out. I feel we signed Rocky Sin after the season, maybe to like a 2-year, 3-year deal on a cheap deal, and we're gonna keep Nate Hobbs still. So I really believe we are gonna focus on the defense. If anything, Domenis, on the offense side of the ball, maybe build that offensive line still to really give Derek Carr a really better protection. Even though his protection has been okay this season, you still want to better that protection. You still want to give Carr really a really clean pocket to work with. But I wouldn't really focus too much in the offensive line. My big need for us is an interior defensive tackle and a coverage linebacker. That is really what I'm really hoping we do. EP Scorpio says, question, should they trade Jacobs if they lose this week? You got to see what you can get. And people will probably hate me for this. Because we got to think about this, guys. Yeah, Jacobs is running crazy right now. But let's say we're still losing football games. And I wouldn't say we trade him after we lose this, but let's say we finish the season with a losing record. Like we're 7-10 or we're 6-11. Then you got to think, well, then Jacobs is really a free agent. Do we let him walk? Do we franchise tag him? But the thing is, do you want to trade him so you could get maybe some picks out of him? because the way he's running right now, you could possibly get a first round for him, maybe a second round. You can use that pick to go defense, but I wouldn't, because, and this, I don't want to blame Zeus because this isn't on Zeus. This is on Josh McDaniels for not using him more. We don't know what we're going to get out of Zeus. If Zeus was on a tear also, that he was having good runs, 60-yard runs, having maybe 3-4 touchdowns on the year, then yes, I might entertain that. But if I'm honest, I would trade Waller before I trade Jacobs. I would pay Jacobs and trade Waller. And a lot of people may get mad at me for that. If we don't trade Waller, I wouldn't be mad either. I wouldn't be mad about that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we trade Waller, and I wouldn't be mad about it because I feel we could get some good picks out of it, and we could use those picks to go get defense. Because, guys, think about this. This offense is already built to really be a talented, great offense. Have they did that this year? They haven't. By any means necessary, they have not. But you got Devontae Adams. You got Derek Carr, who you could build around. You got Josh Jacobs. Let's say you re-sign him. Foster Moreau could come in and take that tight end number one, and he could be a decent tight end. I know Waller is a different type of tight end, but he's not been available for us this year, guys. He's not been available. We had to go back to Jeff Horsted as a tight end because Waller got injured like 7 snaps into the game. You can't have that. Your best ability as a football player is availability. And if Waller is not going to be available, you got to cut ties with him. And then you got Hunter Renfrow. Maybe go out, get a number. I think Matt Hollins, he's solidifying himself as a really good complement to Devontae Adams. You got a good offense to build around. Maybe just build the trench, build the offensive line. But yeah, focus on defense. And that if you do trade Waller, get some picks out of it so you can build that defense. Yeah, Demenis, our interior defense does need help. That's my number one need, even going into the offseason, like now. Like, let's say today the season ended. Interior defensive tackle is a must that we must address in the offseason. I don't care if it's the free agency or the draft. We need to focus on the defensive tackle. And like I said, guys, after the season, I know right now it don't look pretty. We're 2-4. But we got to remember, going into the off season, after this season, our offense does not need help. Our defense needs help. And now Ziegler had a whole offseason where he built a championship caliber offense. Now he's going to go into next season having a full offseason and a first-round pick, guys. Remember, a first-round pick and a full of more complimentary picks that we got for Trayvon Mullen and another guy that I can't even think of. But I seen that in the news. We got like two more fours, and I think we got a fifth. I think 2-6. I gotta look more into that. We'll get more into that as the season ends, guys. Really, my head's not in the draft, but defensive tackle, we are gonna address that in the offseason. I feel we need to, and I know Ziegler is going to point that out to Josh McDaniels. I feel this offseason coming up, like, we are going to make our defense a championship caliber defense. Like, maybe AFC West champions, not Super Bowl champions, but they are going to have a whole offseason, full draft with picks, first round, second round. They're going to build that defense. I know they're going to build that defense. But yeah, and then on the defense side of the ball, I want to give my game balls to the defense side of the ball. Shout out to Deron Harmon, man. Sneaky pickup. My dad was like, man, when we picked up Deron Harmon, he's like, that was a great pickup by the Raiders. Deron Harmon, he was known as the closer in New England, and man, he showed it yesterday against the Texans, closing like just perfect timing on that route. He just jumped it and took it to the house, man. He knew where he was going, and he was saying, once he got the ball, no one was stopping him. He was going to get to the end zone. And shout out to Deron Harmon getting the game ball, closing out his second pick on the year, and I believe his third caused turnover. He had that fumble against the Broncos, and he could have had another one against the Texans on that diving attempt. He didn't get it, but he was close. And then my next one is going to be Chandler Jones and Cleve Farrell. Because Chandler Jones and Cleve Farrell, when they're together on that line, they are disruptive. And I want to see more of that. I want to see Cleve Farrell on the interior with Chandler Jones next to him and Max on the other side. Because I see when I see that, we get more pressure to the quarterback. Sacks happen, as we seen yesterday. I want to see more of that. I want to see, Farrell in there more, but I do want to see Kuntz in there more. I didn't really see him much yesterday. Then again, guys, we were having issues with the streaming devices for yesterday's game. It really was really terrible. But once we got it fixed, we're just watching the game. But I want to see Malcolm Kuntz more. But like I said, guys, that is my game balls. We just got to be consistent. We got to be consistent. We played a good game, and I do want to see 4 quarters of football. We still didn't do that. We were a fourth quarter team. We won in the fourth quarter, but I want to see more of a complete game from our team. What grade? Yeah, I'll finish off with this. What grade you give the Raiders win? I would give them A minus. I would give them an A- because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. We've been saying that this Raiders team does not know how to finish games. It was proven that those 4 losses, the offense did not know how to finish a game. They lost us the game, really, essentially. But this week, the offense and the defense both finished the game. So I got to give them an A-. I would have given them an A+, but their start to the game really was shaky. But like I said, I predicted the game to be that way. But in the second half, you just seen that it was a different team once they came out the second half. A- because they came out with adjustments. They made the necessary adjustments, and they were working. And Josh McDaniels stuck to what was working. So I give him that. But anyways, guys, I wanted to come on here, give you guys a quick recap. Guys, stay tuned. Thursday, we are going to go live. Hopefully, I'll be in contact with Nate. Hopefully, he'll be back. I know y'all miss him. I know you guys miss Natural Nate. I miss him too, man. This isn't Raiders Primos without my guy. But, guys, stay tuned. That's why you guys got to hit that subscribe button. We are closing in on 150. We're closing in on 150 subscribers. Our goal for the subscribers is to get to 500 by the end of the season. So let's hit those subscribe ups. Let's share the link out. Hit the like, hit the bell so you guys can be notified when we go live Thursday for the preview, Raiders versus Saints. But anyways, guys, ours goes. Salute to you guys. Beerus, first half scores a B-, second half B+. I'll take that. I'll go. Oh, bro, thank you guys. Thank you, man. Thank you for the kind words. We will, man. We're going to grind it out. We love talking Raiders football with you guys. We love giving you guys Raiders content. But yeah, we are going to go live Thursday. And also go check out Raiders Football Talk. Again, I want to just show him love for having me on yesterday. Raiders Football Talk. Go subscribe to my guy Andy for having us on. Always having fire content. And go subscribe to the other Mount Shieldmores, Doxy and T. Raider Unlimited featuring Wasted Talent, Hammer's House. Go subscribe to them, man, if you guys haven't already. They are what started this channel. They gave us so many advice how to just come out with Raiders content. What should we do? How can we make the channel better? So, guys, if you guys are showing love to this channel, go show love to my brothers over there. This channel wouldn't be anything without them, man. But yes, shout out to everyone that pulled up. Demenis, Ours Goes, Beerus, EP Scorpio, Natural Nate. He did pull up for a little bit, but man, we going live Thursday. Stay tuned. Primos, we out.